Episode 524. Yi Shu kept running the Thousand Wave Lake dungeon as he chatted with Chen Guo. Thousand City and Monday Morning Quarterback were both seasoned veterans, so they hardly needed Yi Shu to micromanage them. And even while chatting with Chen Guo, his hands were more than keeping up. The Myriad Manifestations umbrella switched forms with practiced ease, unleashing a constant stream of low-level skills from various classes. He was, without a doubt, the absolute core of the team. With a top-tier player like him anchoring the team, and no greenhorns to mess things up, wiping out was practically impossible for this crew. And here was Blue River, feeling a bit put out. He was such a considerate guild leader, always thinking of his subordinates, that he'd given the 4-man team slot to someone else and ended up stuck in this 3-man squad himself. The journey was fraught with peril. The three of them fought their way through, stumbling and struggling, only to finally falter at the second boss. A single mistake was all it took for the boss to wipe them out. Dungeons are inherently tougher than leveling out in the wild, so deaths happen all the time. The real kicker is that dying in a dungeon offers no special treatment. You get hit with the exact same penalties. This particular game mechanic was heavily criticized by players in the early days, but now, with Glory being a decade old, veterans have long since gotten used to it and can't be bothered to complain about the game's design anymore. The one small convenience of dying in a dungeon is that you respawn right at the entrance instead of being sent back to the main city and having to run all the way back. The three of them, Blue River and his 2 companions, had gathered outside the dungeon entrance, looking utterly pitiful as they tried to console each other. They offered each other words of comfort while they waited for their near-death status to wear off. And right at that moment, Blue River got another message from Yi Shu.
You hung up.
Blue River was taken aback. How did you know I was dead? Could these 2 guys in front of me actually be on the other side?
How did you know?
The level rankings.
Blue River was taken aback again. He hurriedly checked the leveling rankings. He hadn't done much leveling in the last 5 days, and with this recent death his experience had taken another hit. As a result, he'd been overtaken on the leaderboard by both Lord Grimm and Tang Ru.
Oh.
Blue River acknowledged.
We're short a person here.
Yi Shu brought it up again, and Blue River paused once more. Then he suddenly addressed 2 members of his team.
You, go follow Lord Grimm's team. He's got a spot open.
Huh?
That person froze.
Si Zhou, you should go with Lantern Flower Knight's team. They seem to be struggling without a cleric.
Blue River finished by telling Shi Zhou that their 3-man team did have a cleric for safety, but that naturally meant their damage output was even worse. But without a cleric, relying purely on skill to clear the dungeon, they weren't on the level of a Yi Shu or a Tang Ru, so they really didn't have much confidence. So the 3 of them made for a rather awkward party composition.
And you?
The 2 of them asked Blue River in unison.
I haven't logged in for 5 days, so I'm behind on XP anyway. I'm heading to the Demon City to run some dungeons.
Blue River said this, then contacted Yi Shu again and introduced that one person from their guild to him.
And what about you?
I'm gonna go check out some other places.
So you're teamless. Does that mean you've got nothing to do? Perfect timing. I'll log into Lord Grimm and help some folks level up.
Get lost, I'm busy.
Blue River was burning with a rare fire, so Yi Shu didn't say anything more. He just sent an ellipsis. The night passed without incident. After the dungeons were done, everyone went back to leveling at Thousand Wave Lake, and peace was finally restored. The guild members would still tense up whenever they crossed paths with Lord Grimm, but seeing that he only collected materials and showed no intention of attacking them, sometimes even offering a casual wave when he got close, they gradually began to relax. But the way he greeted them was downright annoying. He wouldn't call them by their names, just kept shouting things like died twice, died 3 times, died 4 times. That was the great Yi Shu himself, counting how many times us little shrimps had died today. How utterly undignified. The players all grumbled internally, but the night passed without incident. The tension that had gripped the major guilds all day finally began to ease. As dawn broke and everyone was getting ready to log off, the guild leaders suddenly received a message from Lord Grimm. Don't forget to prepare the materials for tomorrow.
What?
Every guild leader was utterly shocked, left reeling and speechless, their hands trembling uncontrollably. What was going on? They had no idea how to respond. But it wasn't long before everyone received another message from Lord Grimm.
Just kidding.
Damn it!
Someone even posted the news to the World Channel. Those who didn't know were left in the dark, while those in the know understood exactly who that shout was for. The main players logged off, and the substitutes took the stage. Over on Yishu's side, Shen Guo had stayed up late the night before watching the commotion, ending up even later to bed than Su Muqing. Now, with the morning sun up, she still hadn't gotten out of bed. Tang Ru still had to go to work as usual during the day, so she didn't linger any longer and logged off to rest. Yishu, however, was still full of energy and practiced on his own for a while longer. He kept at it until Chen Guo got up. Then, as they discussed the night before, he handed his character over to her so she could continue the grind.
I told you, if I don't feel like playing anymore, I'm not going to grind.
Yeah, I know. I haven't done any of the quests on my end, so you can level up by doing them.
Shen Guo gave a nod, and with that, she officially began her career as a game for hire. The reason Shen Guo had said that to Ye Shu was simple. After so many years in glory, she'd become a bit flighty with games. She'd tried everything, seen everything, so when she played now, it was easy to suddenly feel worn out. Unless it was for a special event or a particular reason, she rarely had the patience to grind levels all day, following the rules like Ye Shu or Tang Rou. Chen Guo had thought she'd only last 2 or 3 hours before getting bored, and as it turned out, she knew herself very well indeed. Whether it was running quests or grinding mobs for leveling, none of it held any novelty for Chen Guo. Sure enough, she quickly grew bored. The only thing that kept her going this long was the novelty of the Myriad Manifestations umbrella, that unique, self-made weapon.
Just turn in this quest and we're done.
Chen Guo held onto that thought and kept playing, right up until Ye Shu got up and stood behind her. Chen Guo was still grinding away at a quest, having told herself for what felt like the 100th time that she'd quit after this one was done.
This is the last time. Once this is done, it's over.
Not bad at all. You're picking it up fast. Just what I'd expect from a veteran.
Yi Shu said this, but Chen Guo, who was wearing headphones and seriously fighting monsters, didn't hear him at all.
Boss, time to clock out.
Yi Shu had no choice but to lean closer to her ear and shout.
Huh?
Shen Guo jumped, startled. She turned to find Ye Shu standing right behind her, a look of utter surprise on his face. Looking at the time, it was already 3 in the afternoon.
Didn't you say you'd stop when you got tired? You seem pretty energetic.
Ye Shu checked the experience bar's growth and knew Chen Guo had barely rested. Otherwise, the progress wouldn't have been this significant.
Yeah, I am.
Not tired yet? If you're not, keep going.
It's all yours.
Chen Guo said as she stood up. She felt a little lost as she left. Without even realizing it, she'd been playing for so long. She should have gotten bored ages ago. What exactly had kept him practicing for so long? Chen Guo left her seat and walked around, but eventually circled back to see what Ye Shu was up to. All Ye Shu was doing was finishing off the monster she'd left behind and completing the quest she'd abandoned. It was utterly mundane, nothing worth mentioning. And so, Chen Guo just stood there, staring blankly for a long time. She found herself in a bind. Training was boring, but not training was even more boring. It seemed all her hopes for glory had suddenly shifted to the 10th server, to the happy guild there, and to Lord Grimm, the figure rumored to be a key future player for the team.
An unspecialized.
Chen Guo scratched her head as she spoke. What kind of spectacle would it be if this Lord Grimm really showed up in the Pro League? What would it look like to face off against famous characters like Vicaria, Desert Dust, Troubling Rain, or even One Autumn Leaf?
Hey, you finished this quest already?
Chen Guo was lost in thought when Ye Shu suddenly spoke. Chen Guo leaned in to see which quest Ye Shu was talking about, then gave a confirming nod.
Yeah, it's done.
Yi Shu didn't say anything, just kept on working. So Chen Guo simply pulled up a chair and sat to the side, playing the role of a military strategist, offering advice and gesturing animatedly. Even though she knew she was just showing off her meager skills to a master, she was still thoroughly enjoying herself. Especially when Yi Shu followed her instructions to the letter, the sense of accomplishment was absolutely overflowing.